When a woman's dream to have a healthy baby is shattered, it can be devastating. Have you or someone you know ever received an adverse or negative prenatal diagnosis? Stay with us. Catholic Parents Online is next. Hello and welcome to Catholic Parents Online, a program where we explore the issues Catholic parents face while raising their children. I'm your host, Colleen Perfect. How frightening it must be for any parent to receive a negative or adverse diagnosis before or after birth. It's so important they receive the right kind of information and encouragement. Oftentimes, the fear of the unknown and the pressure to terminate the pregnancy can be intense. They need loving support for carrying their baby and for raising their child with special needs after birth. Joining me is Mrs. Mary Kellett, the founder of Prenatal Partners for Life, an organization which matches families who receive an adverse diagnosis with families who have given birth to a child with a similar condition. Prenatal Partners for Life has helped families in every state in the U.S. and in 27 different countries. Mary and her husband, Don, have been married for 31 years. They have 11 beautiful children, and one, whose name is Peter, age 6.5, was called home to God in August of 2011. Mary is also blessed with 11 grandchildren. Mary has a remarkable story to tell, and I am very pleased to welcome her. Thank you, Mary, for being here.
Thank you, Colleen. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, it's wonderful you're here, and I love hearing your story. So we'll start out with you explaining what Prenatal Partners for Life is and how you founded it and its purpose.
Well, it was Prenatal Partners for Life was founded after our 11th child, little Peter, was about a year old. And when I was 19 weeks pregnant with Peter, an ultrasound revealed some markers for a condition called trisomy 18. An amniocentesis was recommended by the doctor so we could have more choices. And I knew he meant abortion, and I said, you know, I'm not going to risk hurting our baby.
Good,
We're going to love this little boy no matter what. And so we named him Peter and just prayed to God that, you know, we would be blessed with time with him. We were told that babies born with trisomy 18 did not live beyond 2 weeks. So when Peter was born at 33 weeks by emergency C-section, we didn't think he was going to be around very long. Well, one of our daughters had gone on the internet and done some research, and she called me at the hospital and she said, Mom, there are kids living with this and some adults living with this.
Oh, really?
People in their 20s and 30s. Oh. And so I said, well, print out those stories and bring them up to the hospital. So she did, and I asked the doctor when he came in, I said, why did you lie to me and tell me there were no survivors with this? And he looked at me and he said, well, you know, we have to think about resources.
Oh, man.
And Peter will never be able to contribute to society, and he'll just be a horrible burden on your family. And I just, you know, was stunned by that. After talking with our pastor and the hospital chaplain, who's also a priest, and praying, you know, we decided we were going to treat this little boy like we would treat any of our other children. And so he came home to our family. He was only 3 pounds, 2 ounces when he was born, and we brought him home, and he was just a tiny little guy, and you know, he grew and he thrived, and he was just loved to pieces, never put down, always in someone's arms. And it was about a year later that it was after Mass, actually, I was praying about what to do in response to this event of our little Peter.
Right.
It had been such a time with so much inaccurate information given to us and a lot of sadness and fear. and I just was inspired to try to help other families. I always call Peter and the Holy Spirit the founders of Prenatal Partners for
Yes,
Life.
for sure.
And so what we do is we try to match up families who receive the news that their child may not be healthy, may have a condition, with other families who have gone through something similar, to offer encouragement and support and information. And our support is life-affirming. We really encourage every family to embrace the life of their child for however long God allows, because He's the author of all life.
Right.
And I always tell families, you know, your child, no matter what is wrong with it, is made in God's image, you know, and He has a plan and a purpose for that little life, even though it may be very short. A lot of the families that we help, their babies do go home to heaven. But sometimes, you know, the diagnosis isn't as severe as they were told before birth.
Right.
And, you know, we have many families raising these beautiful little kids with special needs. And, you know, I've never had a mom tell me she's had too much time with her baby. So we just really encourage them to just treasure every day as the gift it is.
That's true. You never hear a parent say that they wish they did not have the child, and after
Right.
they've
Yeah.
never hear that.
No, they're very, very grateful.
People that have Down syndrome children, they say they're the joy of their life. They
Yes, they are. They're filled with joy.
What a wonderful thing you've done.
Well, it's all God's work. So, but another thing we do is we send out little gifts of love. We have a little Lamb of Life and a beautiful CD that has lovely songs on it. And we send out a little blanket, Luke's Blanket of Love, made by a mom in honor of her son Luke. And then we also offer practical help in the form of family grants and help for funeral and marker grants.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So the family grants can be anything from sending a mom gas cards who has, you know, a hard time just even getting up to the hospital to see her child because of the high prices of gas, or it can be maybe buying some special equipment that the baby needs, or it can be maybe providing some meals for the family or some babysitting help.
So do people send in donations for this then, Mary?
Yeah, we are a 501(c)(3),
You
so
are,
we're,
good.
we're a nonprofit, and there's a place to donate right on our website, www.prenatalpartnersforlife.org. We send out our brochures. Another big part of our mission is you know, to educate families, but also medical professionals and students and anyone, just really about the gift that every life is, and that these little kids, there's a special place in the world for them, and I think God, you know, blesses us with them because they have so much to teach us.
Right, right. They are. They're just little gifts from God.
They are.
Well, Mary, I've heard shocking statistics on how high the abortion rate is for children that have trisomy 18 or Down syndrome or some of the other. What is the reason for this? I mean, what is the statistic like?
Well, it's over 90%.
90% of the children
over
are
90%.
aborted. Over
yeah.
90.
Yeah. And,
That is-
you know, I think there's a couple of reasons. One is that there's a lot of testing going on, you know, a lot of, you know, just new tests all the time.
Right.
And the American College of OBGYNs took off the over 35 age limit. They used to encourage testing for moms over 35. Well, now they took that off, so now they encourage testing for moms of any age. So,
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, I
and
didn't
so
know
that's
that.
one of the reasons. The testing is very pervasive, and
The amniocentesis?
well, other tests too, blood tests,
Okay.
and but the amniocentesis is one that's used to diagnose, you know, different abnormalities. Also, I think that when markers are found, like with us.
Now, what is a marker? Can you explain?
Well, a marker is something that maybe they see on an ultrasound that isn't quite right.
Okay.
So then they encourage more testing to find that out. And the language, I think, is often very deceptive that's used. one mom we helped, she didn't even realize she was going to have an abortion. She said, "Oh no, this is an abortion. This is just saying goodbye early."
Oh, really?
And so some of the language that's used is not very accurate. One family was told that they need to have a humane abortion.
Humane?
Yeah, humane abortion.
Oh, what an
because
oxymoron.
the baby, would suffer otherwise. And other terms like therapeutic abortion or finishing a miscarriage. One family was told this baby should have been miscarried. Think about that you're just finishing that. So I think the language is confusing and frightful. So many times I'm told that, your words of encouragement are the only positive thing we've heard. So I think there has to be some more training in the way doctors, approach families with the news that their baby may not be healthy. And so I think there's a lot of fear. Families really don't know what to do, and when they ask, well, what do we do now? The answer is, well, most people, terminate their babies or induce, labor and deliver a baby who won't survive. So early induction.
They're in such a fragile situation, and they'll probably just do whatever they're told.
Well, we're kind of, conditioned to think we can follow our doctors.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, families are told, you don't want your baby to suffer, do you? And this will be better for the baby than to have a child that will suffer. And, I just had a email from a man in England, actually, whose unborn baby was diagnosed with sickle cell anemia. And he said, I can't stand the thought of my daughter suffering, and abortion has been suggested. What do you think? And I pointed out to him that, there's no guarantee that, a healthy baby, your next baby, won't suffer. There's no guarantee with that. And we don't eliminate the patient, to eliminate the suffering, which is what is happening. So I encouraged him, to gave him some websites and to find out more information about, this diagnosis, and putting him in contact with other families who have children with this, and just encouraging him to love his daughter.
Yes.
And let God lead the way, let love lead the way. Instead, so many people let fear lead them, and then they do things that they regret.
Do you think things are getting worse, Mary, with this?
Well, I do think things are getting worse. Even in the 5 years since we've started, it seems like the atmosphere is oftentimes more hostile and aggressive. I've had families just call me in tears, and the things they tell me they've been told, are just, they're heartbreaking. One mom said, "Oh, this doctor said you have to abort. Your baby is doomed. Don't you understand? Why do you insist on continuing this pregnancy? Your baby is doomed."
Oh.
Well, no mother who, finds out her child is not healthy should have to endure that.
Yeah.
So we quickly recommended another doctor. And, no matter how long a baby lives, I always tell families, you can find joy in that child's life. And it's so much better, so much healthier psychologically to just embrace the life of that baby, to love that baby, to have that little baby meet its family. And, we were told Peter wouldn't live, and we were so blessed with 6.5 years. And if we would have listened, we wouldn't have had that.
Yeah. I can't imagine, Mary, are you the only organization of your kind that exists?
Well, there are some other really wonderful support groups out there, but I think we're the only one that has such a broad range of support, and not only that, but with the dual mission of education. So I've been blessed to speak, to a lot of different universities and doctors groups and students.
That's good.
And
the younger
churches,
people need to hear.
Just really trying to educate people about this, because I think especially the youth, they're facing this, and it's a topic that's not often discussed. And when people hear those statistics, they're very shocked A lot of people don't
right.
know that, over 90% of babies
Yeah.
diagnosed with things like Down syndrome are aborted.
Yeah.
So.
Do you ever speak to medical students? Or?
I do. I've been blessed to
Really?
speak to medical students.
Wonderful.
Yes.
They need to hear.
And, it just is, I think when people hear the impact of these kids, the positive impact that they have, their mind changes. And, we were told Peter would be a horrible burden to us, and he was never, ever a burden, not for one moment.
When you love your child, how can they be a burden?
Yeah. There were challenges,
I'm
and
sure.
he was medically fragile, but he was, I always say he was the easiest of all the 11 kids. He really was. He was just so sweet and so loving, and just a beautiful little boy.
Peter, is there a reason you named him Peter? Was it?
Well, rock. Peter means rock,
yes,
and
yes.
we wanted him to have a strong name.
Yeah.
We knew that. We didn't really know how long he was going to be with us. If we would have had our way, he would, we would have taken care of him forever.
Yeah.
He was such a joy.
So
but he reached milestones that they, told us he wouldn't. He, could eat by mouth, and he knew and he loved us, and he was. I say he might have been, physically handicapped, but he was very spiritually superior. He had a very discerning spirit, and he was just an amazing little boy.
Well, now you're getting busier and busier with calls and emails of people who need support, and
we're very busy. I think
all over the world.
As more people find out about us, and I really think people are looking for a different option.
Oh, of course.
And I've talked to so many families, and they need to be offered that choice to continue their pregnancy, and a lot of times that's not mentioned. Well, you have the option to continue
of course.
your
you
pregnancy.
Just need somebody to be supportive and encouraging.
We did do a mass mailing of our brochure to doctors all over the U.S., and I always ask people, how did you find us? And one mom said, well, the doctor, he suggested abortion, but when he found out I wasn't going to, he gave me your brochure. So that was
good.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah, that's so you're getting the brochures out. That's important.
Yeah.
Because the more people that know, the better. There's just so many of these people that are
and it's kind of beautiful how
that don't know.
The ministry has grown. Once we help a family, well, that family, they become then our next mentors to help other families.
Yes.
We've have a nice network of families.
But your own family, I know, has really been all joined together in this whole Prenatal Partners for Life, correct? I mean, Peter has just made such a wonderful effect on all of you, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about how your family is working in this? And
he had such a positive impact on us. I think every one of us will be forever changed by the gift of little Peter. Our oldest daughter, Anne, she has 5 kids of her own, and she recently told me, Mom, Peter has had such a positive impact on her kids. She said, they're not afraid to go up to someone in a wheelchair and say, hi, how are you?
Beautiful.
She said, they're so compassionate. And she said, I'd like to think it was my own good parenting, but I know it was Peter and his influence on them. I guess he taught us just the gift of every day, too, that we just have to cherish the gift of life. He was such a happy, sweet child. He really put to perspective what's important in life. And he was able to receive, the sacrament of baptism and confirmation and Holy Eucharist.
Oh, he did.
And so it was just a joy, to have him receive those sacraments.
Oh,
and he was
that's wonderful.
He loved the Bible. I'd read the Bible to him, and he would just, I got the feeling he understood it more than me. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, Mary, so you do all this out of your home, and and you just working with all these children and grandchildren. I'm amazed at all you're doing. It's just really God's work.
It is God's work, and we have a lot of help. We have a lot of volunteers, wonderful families. Another thing we do is if a family is in the hospital, we'll go up and sit in the hospital so the family can leave, and we'll be with the child And a lot of times we bring up a favorite meal because hospital food gets very old
Yes,
quickly.
it does.
So we'll ask, what would you like us to bring? And
Yeah.
we'll try to,
Oh, how
accommodate them.
wonderful.
So.
That's wonderful. You just do it all. You're just doing whatever.
Well, it's very individualized. Every family's different and their needs are different. And so we just really try to support them. The main thing we do is prayer. We put the families on a prayer line.
Good.
And we pray for them. And a lot of families come to us and they're ready to abort that baby. I mean, they're, unsure maybe, but leaning towards, listening to the doctors. And, once they talk to another family who has been through it and get that perspective, they change their minds. And they're so, so very grateful for that.
So if I called you and I had an adverse diagnosis with a specific diagnosis, would you put me in touch with someone who had the same?
Right, the same or
Okay.
a similar diagnosis.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we'd talk, they'd explain what they went through. And
Yep.
oh, that
and-
is so good. That
we
is
usually
so wonderful.
try to match up 2 or 3 families for each
Oh,
client we
really?
receive. Yeah, and it's such a beautiful thing. We've helped a Catholic mom from Northern Ireland became really good friends with a Protestant mom from Scotland.
Oh, really?
And,
How wonderful.
a family from Norway, was connected with a family from Sweden. And,
Oh, wow.
And then in South Africa, we were able to connect a couple families. And
Really, Mary? That's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's
the
really
marvels of
neat.
the internet, isn't it? That
It is. But I think these kids, they just, they exude love. And so I really think they're, I call them teachers of our souls.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
beautiful.
that's exactly why these special little babies are given to us to teach us.
That's right. That's right.
About love and compassion. And to teach us about God's love, how He loves us unconditionally, and how we're called to love each
That's
other
right.
unconditionally.
That's right.
So,
That's right. We need a lot of that in the world today, don't we?
yes, we do.
Things are getting worse and worse.
Well, I think we're losing, a
If
lot
it's
of
not
that.
the quality, it's got to be the quality of life, not the.
Yeah, people talk about quality of life,
Yeah.
and people always talked about that with Peter. And all my children are children, and me and Don agree that Peter, had the best quality of life. He gave us so much love, and he received so much love, and he didn't have all these other hang-ups that
Yeah,
a
that's
lot of us. He
true.
was just pure love.
Exactly.
And so,
Exactly.
he-
You've talked to, I think, mentioned something about in the Netherlands, they're having horrible situations over there, even worse than here with.
Well, they they have the infant euthanasia program over there.
That's right. That's what you were mentioning.
So, but the abortion rate is extremely high, and there's not a lot of kids with disabilities in those countries. They're just not allowed to be born, or if they are born, they're not allowed to live.
So it's basically that's it. If you
Well, I
have
have a friend, in Norway. She said, "I've never seen a child with Down syndrome." I mean, they're
Really?
just
Oh,
they're
my
just not
heavens.
there. Not many of them, anyways. So the
That's just evil to be destroying
Well,
these beautiful little lives. That,
yeah, our message is that there's a place in the world for these kids, and they have a very, very special vocation. And I really think it's to help make us better people.
That's right. That's right. What are some of your more of your needs that you need that people could help you with more, Mary? I mean, I know funding is always important.
Yes, funding. It's expensive to mail these packages
Oh, I bet.
overseas.
Yes.
I mailed out a package to New Zealand last week, and I think the contents of the package are less valuable than what it costs to mail it.
Yeah,
But
postage
the
is
families
high.
are so grateful. So many times people say, oh my goodness, these gifts for this little baby that nobody placed any value on, and here somebody is sending a gift and writing a note. And I always say in my note that your baby is made in God's image, and God loves you and is with you. You are not alone through this.
And that's all they need to hear sometimes,
And they
right?
do. They just need that comfort
Right.
and that life-affirming support, and,
Right.
and they
And
are
they-
so grateful.
And they should be hearing that from the doctors and other people, but
They should be. There are
They're
some
not.
good doctors out there, thank
I'm sure.
goodness.
Yeah, right.
But I think even the training in medical school is really geared toward, abortion.
yeah.
So we try to replace that fear with love. That's basically what we try to do.
How long is it? When did your organization start?
Well, it was a year after Peter
So-
was born, so in 2006.
Okay. Okay. Well, I just hope that you keep getting the word out so people will know. That's so important. They have this option.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's important for families to know that they do have the option to continue to love their baby, and that raising a child with special needs, while it may have challenges, it oftentimes is just a tremendous source of grace for the family and a blessing.
Do you offer resources that are I'm sure you do, for help with even the schooling or the...
Yeah, we offer, a lot of different information based on what that family needs, but that's something...
Do you have like a booklet you send?
Not really. Sometimes families just need, doctors that are more helpful.
Yes, right.
Are resources in their area. So we really try to just connect them with whatever their need is.
Well, Mary, we're just about out of time, so is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I would just encourage families who, are getting the news that their baby may not be healthy, just to embrace the life of their child and to trust in God. Every life is a miracle, and these little ones, they are, I think, wonderful blessings in disguise. And so I would just tell them, don't be afraid to love your baby.
So they need to contact Prenatal Partners for
And
Life.
call us for help.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much for coming, Mary.
You're
God
welcome.
bless you.
God bless you, Colleen.
God bless your work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because of Mary's strong faith and the belief that every child is an awesome creation of God, she knew that someday little Peter would leave a lasting legacy. Prenatal Partners for Life. Please go to their website at prenatalpartnersforlife.org to learn more about this outstanding organization. If you missed part of this program, you can view it anytime on our website at catholicparents.org. Thanks for watching, and God bless you and yours.